It's time to get into Capcom Cup match analysis. Obviously, everybody's going to ask me about this because as soon as I started my stream, I just see an article on Event Hubs. I see this. There was a discussion amongst the commentators yesterday about being owed a bunch of money and, you know, the pains and qualms of working with different companies and et cetera, et cetera. And I just opened it up and I see this Event Hubs article and I'm like, oh boy. Anyway, Event Hubs posted this article and talking about money and stuff. David said he was owed like 10K. Markman said he was owed some money. Rick was talking about being owed money. I'm owed a lot of money. You know, there was a discussion from all the commentators. The thing is if you know about freelance, and I have a lot of friends that do freelance, not just in commentary or not just in gaming. I have friends that do freelance outside of the video game environment. I have like friends who are photographers or artists or, you know, many different kinds of work. And I like talking to other freelancers because we obviously almost always share the same struggles, right? There's almost always the same kinds of struggles when it comes to working a freelance gig. And the thing is, right, when you think about, we don't need to look at that anymore. You guys got the idea. Although I will say that I do like Event Hubs' choice of, you know, the mic, spiking the mic on the floor in anger. Grr. I like it. Whoever did that, nice job. The thing is that when it comes to doing anything that's freelance work, it's just sort of the nature of being a contractor. When you're not an employee, you don't get paid every single Thursday or Friday, weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or whatever it is, right? Like, you don't have that sort of stability in your income. What ends up happening as a freelancer is when you work for somebody as a contractor, you have like a net 30 or a net 60 or a net 90. And that's like, all right, when I submit my invoice to you from the time of this, you have 30 days or 60 days or 90 days to pay me or whatever, right? That's sort of like the nature of working a contractor or freelancer gig. It's just always like that for whatever it is. You submit your invoice or whatever other paperwork they need from you, and you wait for them to pay you. The thing is that almost everything you will ever do as a freelancer will not pay you on time. I'd say like 85% of the time they'll at least be a little late. A little, like maybe a few days. You have to text them or email them or, you know, depending on your relationship with them, be like, hey, and you gotta poke them. Hey, motherfucker, hey, pay me. Give me my money. I'm owed money, right? You gotta poke them, right? Especially what ends up happening a lot of the times when you want to get paid, you work for somebody. After you're done working for them, you send your invoice in. 30 days later, 40 days later, they hit you up. Hey, we'd like you to work on some new project. And you say, I'd love to work on that new project for you. As soon as you pay me for the old one, I'll have some money. You know, I can maybe go out there. Oh, you want me to book my own flight for this one and you'll reimburse me? I don't know if I can. I don't have any money since I haven't been paid from the last time I worked with you. And then suddenly, boom, it's like fucking magic. The money just slides into your account just like you slid on over for the 13 months. Thanks very much, Slurpees and stuff. It's just like that, right? It's like the fucking little game you have to play of poking the bear. Hey, give me my money. Motherfucker, give me my money, right? Now, it's not always that bad. Sometimes you just do stuff and they pay you and it's great. But it's just sort of the nature of the beast. Imagine, for me, for instance, why I'm owed a lot of money. Think about how many events I've had in the last like 2 to 3 months, right? In the last 2 to 3 months, we've had like all the big finals events, or a lot of the big finals events. We've had like tons of different fighting game tournaments. We had like all these CPT events at the end of the year for like the tour, Capcom Cup, the Geico finals, you know, all this different stuff. I've been traveling like crazy. It's been such a busy time of the year, right? I've like barely been home. So you can imagine that all of those things are net 30, 60, 90 or whatever, right? So I'm basically owed all the money that for all the events I've done in like the last 3 months, right? So imagine what 3 months of your paycheck's not coming to you. Then that's what it's like for me. But as a freelancer, I'm very used to that, right? You sort of always plan like your finances a quarter back or whatever, right? Like 2 quarters back or however long, you know, it takes usually for the cycle of what you're owed or paid. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, these fighting game commentators are not getting paid at all for all the work they've done. It's not like it's the end of the world. It's an extremely normal situation for freelancers to deal with. Is it frustrating? Sure. Is it gonna like, you know, ruin my life? No. For most people, I think we're all pretty used to dealing with this kind of style if you're a freelancer. It's nothing too crazy. Got like 20 G's he's owed. That sounds like that number sounds like it would be nice to be in my bank account. That's just kind of how it is as a contractor. It sounds like an insane person's way to live if you think about it from regular standard job perspective, paid every 2 weeks or whatever. Like the stability of it is very different, right? Because you never know when exactly you're going to get paid or when the work's going to come in. But what you trade off for, like what you trade off, what's it called? What you trade off in happiness and doing a passion gig and enjoying your work, and you trade off for not knowing exactly when you're always going to get paid, losing the stability of consistent work, and having to work every day, right? Like that's like the balance that a freelancer will have. So like for me, I never know technically when my next gig is going to be. I have a pretty good idea. I'm very lucky that as a freelancer, I have tons of work. I have a pretty good idea. But for most freelancers, you live your life not knowing when your next gig is going to be, essentially working every day to, hustle and send emails and follow up with people and try to negotiate for work, and like studying your craft or trying to get better at it, right? All that kind of stuff. And also you just work all the time. It's just like a very common thing. And it's easy to burn out on a freelancer's lifestyle. And so you're sacrificing, working at a company with stability that you might not enjoy as much for working on your passion project that has a little bit of instability. That being said, I love being a freelancer. It's amazing. It's like the best feeling being a contractor. There's so much built-in freedom in what we do. If I wanted to go to that bed and just lay there for a week, like not go anywhere, just lay in bed for a week, just like Uber Eats food, to my room, like have the guy leave it outside the apartment and go get the food, like come back, just feeling like a slob. I don't want to do anything. I have no responsibility to do that. I can just turn down any gigs that I have for a week and just go lay in the bed and I'll be chilling, right? Like it's just amazing. But, I choose that lifestyle over having the standard stability that someone with a normal 9 to 5 does. What does my daily routine entail in order to work around that reduced stability or even just to fill in time? My normal day is very similar. It's very similar in the way I have every single day set up. I wake up in the morning, I get coffee, I watch or play or study fighting games, send emails, follow up about events, have calls, lots of calls, have phone calls or work calls, and do anything that's related to my work, right? Whether that's work on videos, stream, emails, whatever it's got to be for like all of that. And my goal is to only do work-related stuff until dinner time. Once dinner time hits, then after dinner time, I'm like, okay, if I want to play a non-fighting game, if I want to watch something that's not fighting game related, relax on something that's not fighting game related, then that's the time to do that, right? Just to do something else. A lot of times what happens is I have dinner and then I'm like, I want to play Street Fighter or I want to play Dragon Ball, and I play it online. So that's like the standard day. Get through everything, boom, 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 boom. Dinner time, post dinner time, treat it like, all right, this is my free time for the rest of the day. So what I do is the rest of the day, chilling, right? Playing other games if I want to. I usually dinner around 4 or 5. Play other games if I want to. If I want to like go out, I usually go out every single day to try to hang out with friends or see somebody that I haven't seen in a while, do something, leave the house, go do something. You can't just stay inside all day. It's awful. Right? So go out and do all that kind of stuff. Then at night, play games, relax, enjoy the night, wake up the next day, focus on fighting games. The thing is that I check my email and all the time, right? Like probably once every 30 minutes at least. Probably more than that during the day, but around that time at night. And also people can always reach me on text and Twitter. So it's impossible for me not to work post dinner time because people are trying to reach out to me or talk to me or contact me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but in an ideal day, that's how it goes, right? But you're always needed as a freelancer. You can never take time off. That's just sort of how it goes. So yeah, a lot of people were really like, oh my God, these commentators are not getting paid. And it's like, well, sort of. There's just a long payment process in most freelancers' life. So that's just how it goes. How many unread messages in that inbox? 0. This is the beginning of the stream. We were just talking about this Event Hubs article that came out. It cracks me up that none of them asked about, none of us asked us about it. They were like, yeah, we just post this article. Pretty standard freelancer stuff. I mean, if any of the Event Hub's writers are freelancers in their at all, they would probably know what it's like. I don't know how much or if they freelance at all, but yeah, it's pretty standard for a freelancer to have to wait 30 to 60 days, right? It's a strange article to write. There's some, although fighting game articles are almost always weird. I'm almost never happy about it, but I feel like I'm almost never the target audience for most fighting game articles or writing. I don't know who is, but I don't think it's me. Most of the times, I'm not that interested unless it's something that's like a super deep dive into fighting game lore or fighting game, like the community history, right? I shouldn't say the lore because then you'll think I care about who killed Chun-Li's dad. And I don't care about that. I only care about like Bison, the character, you know? most fighting game writing or articles and stuff like that is like stuff that I'm usually not that interested in, or it's like recaps of events that I already watched or whatever, right? It's very rare that it's like something that's directly focused on something I would want to watch. The stuff that I liked was the Red Bull interviews that they did, right? That's like the number one probably thing that I enjoyed reading the most. Like recaps, I almost never read them because I'm watching events usually. It's very rare that I miss events or I go back and watch it. Nobody likes fighting game lore. What is with you guys and fighting game lore being all, this is the best? Fighting game lore isn't so hot. I just care about the game and the characters in the match.